FideMaster John Curtis, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap some of my last games that I've just played, and we'll start with this game here. I won with the white pieces against a FideMaster Stepakyedael, or whatever his name is, and we'll have a look at this game. Going into the chess.com analysis room, and we're going to analyse each of these games. We're going to go through the engine analysis, tell you what I thought at the time during the game, and just basically sort of show you how we play chess at the 2200 level for all the beginners that follow my channel. Okay, right, so we need the analysis room, so we're going in there now. Okay, at the moment I'm just actually hosting All About Tennis on Twitch TV at the same time. Anyway, here we go. So white is the Magician, John Curtis, FideMaster from Australia, and black is FideMaster Stepakyedael, I think it is, from Israel. Forgive me if I've done the name incorrectly. He's played c5, so we've got the Sicilian Defense, the Can Knight variation, e6, d4, takes, knight takes, and a6. Yeah, often in the Sicilian here, d6 is played and not the e6 move, and that'd be probably the Najdorf Sicilian. Anyway, knight c3. This is the Can. So knight c3 and queen c7. And it's quite usual to put your queen on c7 here in this position to attack the black squares, and my opponent does a great job of doing it. It's just I sort of play and play and play, and I think I hustle him at the end. Anyway, bishop d3. I thought, well, I'll just sit back and I'll just develop my pieces and just sort of find my way through. But excuse the yawning. But as it is, what he does is, he knows this system. He obviously plays it all the time. I thought, well, what I'll do here, well, I'll play queen e2, and I'm thinking, well, the plan is to reverse the knight back and then play e5 and boot his bishop to smithereens. But he plays too well for that. He should have played b5 according to the engine, but he played knight f6. So I played knight to f3. Oh, and apparently, it looks like I've missed something. Have I missed a winning move? Yeah, well, I've missed a good move. I've missed knight. I was actually threatening knight to d5, was I? That's interesting. Let's have a look at it. So if I'd played this move, the engine says play here. Well, if he takes it, well, I'll take back. Okay, so what happens then? What if he checks me to try to hold his bishop? If he plays queen here, oh, I can still play e5, can't I? And if he checks me, what happens then? What happens if he checks me? What do I do? Apparently that's the best move. Do I play bishop? I'd have to play bishop d2, wouldn't I? Bishop d2, is that correct? Star move, it is the best move. There you go. And then you would think that his only move would be bishop b4. And it is apparently the best move. And black seems to have an edge. What about the knight check? Is it knight check, is it? I'm not sure how this variation would go. I'm not happy about it, but perhaps I can, yeah, give him a check here. Is that the move, is it? No, it's not the right move. The engine's saying play c3, is it? No, it's saying take the bishop. All right then, so the engine's saying I've got to take the bishop, queen takes. Well, obviously I've got to hit him with a pawn. And then he plays queen here. Yeah, best move. And then what do I do then? Oh, I play pawn to king 5 with the idea of giving him a knight check. And so then he's got 5, 6, 7 pawns, and I've got 3, 3, 6, 7 pawns. and I'm a piece down with a knight down his throat, but I'm going to lose the game. Oh, yeah, well, I won't be in that. So I won't follow the engine's advice. So we're going to go back to this position, bishop d3, bishop there, queen there, knight there, and now I'm playing knight to f3. I don't like the engine's move. Knight c6. Well, as it is, I've got a bad game anyway. I think black is better here. I like black's position. The castle, and he played h6. He's trying to grab all. He isn't just trying. He's grabbing all the damn black squares. And I thought that was an excellent move. So I played rook e1. The whole idea is just to play pawn to e5. I want to push that pawn and win a piece. Okay? But of course it has no effect. He just plays knight there. And he had the other knight there too, knight to g4, as the engine says. Anyway, I thought to myself, well, I better take... Oh, no, I decided I'd go back. Except what I overlooked, I should take the knight. But what I overlooked was the simple fact he can take the bishop, pawn takes, and then take a pawn with check and then run back, and he's fine. So that was really dumb of me. And, the engine says that b5 was best. So knight takes bishop wasn't the best move. Anyway, so I played knight to f1. I got a star move. Best move, because now my knight on f1 is defending this h-pawn. That was... right, so rook to g8, right? So now again, he's got every piece virtually on a black square. 2 pawns here on h6 and g5, 2 knights, knight f6, knight e5, and the queen there, that little armoured division there. So he played knight to g. I played knight to g3. I thought, well, I'll try to block him off. Maybe I could play knight to h5 and eliminate one of those knights. That was my plan. A faulty plan according to the engine. So he played b5, star move. That's a worry. So I took the pawn off and I thought, oh, I'm getting desperate here. I should have played bishop e3 and been patient, but being a Blitz game, I thought, well, and me a Blitz player, I thought, well, I'll just have a go. Knight takes pawn. Played queen there. Took his bishop. He recaptured. Fair enough. And I played b3. The whole idea is now I want to put my white squared bishop on the long diagonal and maybe hope I can get some sort of pressure. But I don't think he's got too much to worry about. As long as he keeps his queen on c7, and then I think he's all right. C6, queen c7, d6, and it's very hard to see me winning this game. So he played bishop there, and I thought, oh, that's good, because I can just play c4 and make his bishop look stupid, and I get a move that I need to play anyway in. So he played bishop back, and then I played bishop here, right? I just want to hit the knight. Anyway, he played rook to g8. He should play the queen c7 move, as I suggested earlier. And with that, I thought, well, I'll just hit his queen. And he played queen c7. And I played a4. I got a star move for that because I thought to myself, I've got 3 pawns there. Somehow, however, I don't know, but I've got to start pushing them, right? I've got to do something with my pawns. That's all I've got. He played d6, and I thought, oh, you beauty, I've got a target. So I played bishop a3, and the engine said star move, best move, well done, son. I thought, oh, okay. He played rook d8, and he protects his pawn. And here it says white's winning. And I'm thinking, why is white winning? I don't know why. Logically, I thought to myself, I need to double up my pieces and get some glorious play. Maybe I should have played queen to... If I play queen there, doesn't work. No. Anyway, see what the engine says. Rook to d4 I should have played. I wasn't even... I didn't like that move either. I suppose I wasn't happy with any moves in my position. I do like to have extra pieces like he's got. Played queen to c6. terribly strong move along the long diagonal with options of checkmates and some variations. So I played f3, basically for this pawn barrier to hold up against his attack along that long diagonal there. Okay. So he played queen checks, and I thought, oh, well, all right then, what are you going to do now? And so I thought, well, I'll put my queen in. It says question mark. Maybe it says I should move my king in the corner. And I can understand why now, why I should just move the king in the corner, but I was hoping he might change queens. And he took the pawn off, and that's the best move. And I thought, I've got all sorts of trouble here because of this damn knight fork. Right, knight forks me, and I'm thinking, well, what can I do if I can't take the d pawn? I'm lost. And when you look at the bar on the side of the board, I've got a lost game. So this again shows you that maxim that you should never give up. Okay, so I'm playing a FideMaster. Now this is just under international master strength. You've got grandmaster. People ask me this question all the time. You've got grandmaster. You've got international master. Then you've got the FM, the FideMaster. That's a master appointed by FIDE, the World Chess Federation, Fédération Internationale des Échecs. Then, of course, lower than that, you've got national master. And then under that, you've got the candidate master. Candidate master being somebody who wants to be a national master. Okay, so FideMaster is just under IM and international master. And it's quite a strong title. And he's rated 2214, so... And he's from Israel, and they're pretty clever. They're pretty tough cookies over there. So I took the pawn anyway, and I thought to myself, well, I've got no choice here. I've got to lose the exchange. So he played knight there correctly, and I took the knight off. And it's the best move according to the engine. So he took back with the rook, and then I played pawn e5. Oh, the engine did suggest another move, bishop b4, but I thought to myself, the only move I was frightened of in this position was rook takes bishop, because he's still a piece up, and it makes it much harder. I can't do much if he plays rook takes bishop. And he played knight there. Oh, well, the engine didn't like rook takes bishop. Engines love material. Okay, they love to hold on to the material. Anyway, engine says he should have played g4, right? Okay, so why is that? Because the knight, I'm not really threatening the knight, because if I take the knight, he can just capture the bishop here, because the pawn will take away the protection of the bishop. So engine is saying, just keep attacking me with pawn there, and the engine knows what it's doing. Knight to d7. All right, then I thought, well, now I better push this pawn, and the engine says, golly gee, mate, you found a good move. And the reason why I did that was because I could see knight to h5 and a little check here or here, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can get away with some sort of robbery, chess robbery. I want to play like a chess bandit here, right? Anyway, so he played queen d5, star move, best move. I think, well, how am I going to beat him? So I played queen e3, and the engine says question mark. Engine wanted to bring the knight back, but as the bar on the side of the board says, my game is dead lost. So it's up to me with 2 minutes and 4 seconds to come up with a plan. He played rook there, so I played knight to h5, hoping for a blue miracle, a miracle of some sort. Anyway, I thought maybe if he plays knight takes c5, or something of that nature, I can get knight f6 check. You know, I don't know what his plan is here. He's winning easily, but he played this move, and I thought, yeah, beauty, he's given me a knight fork. So what he'd actually done was, there's no knight fork here now because pawn takes knight, right? So what he's done is he's played here, and that's basically a blunder, right? Engine says it's a good move, but I thought, bang, I'll hit him and I'll take material off. I'll grab it. I won't be shy. So when I took that off, position's changing and now white's winning. That's right. I've gone from a loss to a won game according to the bar on the side of the board. The engine says I'm a champion. So he took the knight off and got a question mark. Apparently he should take the pawn off. And bang, I thought, well, you beauty, here I come, I'm going to give him a check. And I can see a mating net there, and there's not much he can do. After pawn takes pawn, I just play queen takes pawn check. He's only got one square to go to. I played queen check here as the best check, and then he played king there, and I just gave him a mate. I delivered a checkmate on move 37 against FideMaster Stepakyedael, okay, from Israel. Okay, so we're going to look at the next game now, and we're going to go back to the archives, back to those friendly little archives, and I will get this thing out of there. Right, we're going to go into this game here. I was black again on this occasion. But there, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I lost that one. But we did win this one. Have a look at this one. So look at two more games. And we're looking at this game here. We'll just see how this one went. And this is more about the thinking of chess and how you can see in that last game we just totally lost, but we managed to come out of it. So we just go here. Boom. And we've got a different type of opening for you this time. Go to the games analysis. Right. And get out of that. Whoop, 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 whoop. And now here we are. We're playing Andridian 80. He's 2177. He's from Indonesia. Okay. So in the opening this time, it's a Queen's Gambit decline. So something different. Okay, so last time you had a Sicilian, now you got a Queen's Gambit, Queen's Pawn type opening. Okay, so D5, Knight F3 I played. That's a book move, as you know, Knight F6. So we get the knights out before the bishops, right? So C4, standard stuff, Queen's Pawn openings, you always play C4. And E6. So he plays E6 with the idea of developing his black bishop to either E7 or a little check on B5, and then he can castle, right? Which is all very, very solid stuff played by the grandmasters. Queen C2, and you can see the bar on the side of the book. Is a slight advantage to white, but nothing much. That's a book move. Bishop D6. No, Engine says that's good, but says pawn takes pawn was the best. Okay, so I played E3. I thought I'd get my pieces out. Engine did prefer me to play knight C3, but the difference was minimal in the strength of the two moves. He gets a star move, so he develops one of his last minor pieces, and he prepares E5. So I played knight to C3. I thought, well, if he plays E5, I might be able to get an isolated pawn, the D pawn, to play against. So I wasn't too worried about E5. Maybe I should have been, I don't know. But he castled first. Star move, best move. In other words, put your king into a semblance of safety, into a security perimeter before you start trying to whip up some attack, right? That's what they do in Afghanistan. What does the military do? They set up a security perimeter, and then they can create, from there they can have a base of operations. Well, this is exactly the same military tactics we use in chess. Rook to C1. Okay, and now he plays H6. All right, so I'll tell you why I play Rook C1. I've got to tell you these things, haven't I? The whole idea is Rook C1 is I really want to play pawn here as well. And the idea is if he takes the pawn, right, I could recapture with the bishop. And then because this pawn's moves, I can slip the bishop back here, move the bishop back here, and deliver a checkmate along there sometime. But the point is you give yourself the options of those types of prophylactic moves. Sounds rude, doesn't it? H6. Anyway, attacks the bishop, star move. So I thought, well, I'll play H4. And the engine said, that's a good move, but said bishop H4 was best. it can be a little bit of a weakening move, but the engine actually liked it. And I noticed, as Levy Rossman says, International Master Levy Rossman says on Gotham Chess, all the good players are playing H4. And I thought, well, I want to be a good player too, so I'm going to play H4. And that's why I did it. I fancy listening to Levy Rossman. Anyway, but no, I like the guy. I actually like him. He thinks a bit too much and thinks too deeply about moves, and yet he's very talented, but he's I think he thinks too deeply and puts too much strain on his brain. Anyway, he played rook to e8, and I played bishop f4. I thought, well, I'll let you take my bishop. Then I'll get these two pawns wedged on d4 and f4, and you'll never be able to play e5. And I can always save this pawn here with g6, g3, and I've got all my pawns on the right coloured squares for the white squared bishop, which means I'm really looking at the ending. That's right. We're just out of the opening, and I'm already looking at the end game, right? To set my pawn structure up for an end game. Sneaky, huh? But that's how I think. So he played knight to f8, and I thought, you beauty, he's going backwards. He should have played e5, right? And I thought, oh, he's let me off the hook. So I thought, I'll take his bishop, and I got a star move for that, because now I can see that I'm controlling more of these dark squares. I'm controlling these dark squares, and I like it. He took with the queen, and here I'm thinking maybe I should just play knight here. That's maybe the move. That might be the move that I should be playing. Let's see what happens. What did I play and what should I have played? I played bishop to e2, and I should have gone bishop to d3. There you go. That makes sense, doesn't it? Doesn't it make a whole lot of sense to you? All right then. So he plays knight on the f5 to d7. Guess what? That's the square he came from before, and he went back, and the engine said, "You're a naughty boy." Slapped him on the bum, and now he's back again to play a good move. So I played a3, and now the position's level according to the bar on the side of the board, which indicates clearly that black had a better game earlier on. And now comes e5. And I thought, well, I'll take that. Knight takes. Then I took the centre pawn, because now if he takes with the pawn, right, I can play knight here and knight there and win the exchange. So I thought, oh, he won't like that. So what does he do? Well, he takes with the knight, doesn't he? He doesn't want to lose the exchange. So I thought, well, I'll take this knight, and the engine didn't like it. It says it's okay, but rook d1 was best. And then he played queen takes. So I took his knight. That's the best move. And then he took with the pawn. And I thought, oh, all right then. So I castled. Engine says don't castle. It says play queen c3. And why should you play queen c3? So I can just castle and go on with it, but I'm going to explain why. Well, queen c3 is a better move because it challenges the black squares. It also, if his queen moves away, you might be able to get your queen with a bit of luck on this square here, or you could end up, or you could end up getting a blockade on d4 and eventually winning that pawn. You might play bishop f3 and rook to d1 and put all your pieces on that centre pawn and win that pawn. Anyway, I castled, and then I could have the engine would have liked him to have jettisoned the pawn, right? Jettisoned the pawn. Okay. He missed that, so I went down there, and now he should probably still jettison the pawn. He should probably still play pawn here, probably. Let's see what happens. Oh no, engine says he should have taken the b pawn. Well, I was happy about that. He was a bit too overprotective, we might say, a bit too overprotective. So I thought, well, I'll play bishop to f3, and I just put my bishop on a good square. And look what he does. He plays bishop there. And you'd think, oh, this position's starting to look like a draw. And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a draw. He's 21-77. I'm not playing that well. And frankly, I didn't think I was playing well enough to beat him. He should have taken the h-pawn. So I took with the bishop. Engine says I should take the queen. And then he took with the pawn. And the book, the engine says that's the best move. So I took his queen, rook takes, and I grabbed both files. So there's only 2 open files on the board, this one and this one. Okay, the pawn position is level. Okay, and what are the advantages and disadvantages in this position? Because this is the sort of position that people can draw if they play excellent chess, they're grandmasters. Well, the position should be a draw, right? Or you can lose. You can lose these positions if you play really badly. He's 21-77. He didn't play too badly. He played rook there and he gets a star move. So in the end game, he's played the best move. What did I play? Rook to d5. I just thought, I better centralise. It doubles the scope of my rook. Instead of controlling all those squares, I now control all those squares as shown by the arrow. A lot more squares, right? Okay? So that's why I put the rook there, just to control squares. I also thought that if he wants to put rook here, I can take his rook off, right? I could play rook takes rook, rook takes rook. I can check him down the back, and when his king goes here, I can hit 2 pawns, right? So that was my idea, okay? So I knew he couldn't really change rooks. He wouldn't like that. And he played g6. You know what he's trying to do? He's actually trying to play connect 4. He wants to connect all his pawns up and sort of get some safe, secure position. But do you think I was going to let him do that? No, I played there just to upset him a little bit, right? Anything to upset your opponent. You know, if you got full control domination of 2 open files, you want to play on the wing as well. You want to create problems for him. But his position's quite sound, okay? He could even play here and he's got no real problems. What I can do is I can get a blockade with g5 on his e-pawn, but I think the position should still be a draw because my advantage is just not enough to win. But that pawn there could become a little bit weak. I wasn't too sure about it, boys and girls. So I played pawn takes pawn, and the engine says it's the best move. He recaptured, and I played a4. That wasn't the best move. The best move was to increase the scope of my other rook as well. Okay, so that's what the engine liked. And then he played pawn there, so I thought, all right, well, I'll push my pawn past. And the whole idea is I just want to fix this pawn down here, this B pawn. I thought, if I can ever get that pawn, maybe I'm a chance, that real rare chance of winning the position. So he played king there. And the only other thing I was thinking about, I thought, if I could just get my rook up here, here, and here, I might be able to get both rooks going along and shoot him along there. Like in a duck gallery, a shooting range. Bang, 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 shoot the ducks. Anyway, I played b5. And he played rook there, so I thought, you beauty, I double the rooks. Apparently I should move 1 rook back and just threaten to check, according to the engine. But the engine says that the difference between the 2 moves is insignificant. So he played rook there. He should have moved the king across. And then I gave him a check. Well, this is dangerous. Do you know that if he actually plays king up here, it's checkmate? That's right. King here is checkmate, see? It's just a little thing that can happen in a fast game, right? But he didn't do that. He sees a checkmate. He's a good player. He's 21-77. It's very hard to beat these kind of characters. So I played rook there, and then he played rook there, and that's a star move, the best move. So I had to take his rook, pawn takes, and that's a star move too. So how would you win this position? I played rook there, star move, best move. Reason being is because this is a tight game, and it's all. I think the position is it says a slight advantage to white, but it's a tight game. You'll see how tight this game is. You play king here, and bang, star move. I hit a pawn. So he goes over. He should have played rook hits my pawn, but I played rook takes pawn. He went here. I played rook here, and he thinks, oh no, he's connected the pawns. What do I do now? So he thought, he got a brilliant idea. He thought, I know what I'll do. I'll take the rook here, and then I'll just move my king around here and take the pawn off and win the game. That's what he's thinking, right? Okay. So he did. He took the rook, and I took back, and then he went back. And his plan was to just go back and capture my pawn. And I thought, gee, my king's a long way away. I better do something quickly. So I played pawn here. I'll show you. I played pawn there. Star move, best move. So he took the pawn. Oh, he should take the pawn off, but it doesn't make much difference. The principle is the same. I played pawn takes pawn. Can you see what's happening here? He goes back, he's chasing one pawn, but there's a new problem on the horizon. And can you see the problem he's got? He can't stop my queen. And that's the end of the game. So a position that you would think would be a real dead draw, but between two FideMasters, or two masters as we are, he's not a FideMaster, but he's a top player. He's a top player. He's got to be a candidate master or something like that. Anyway, a candidate master or national master. But the point is that the position was a draw, and our friend Untitled 80 from Indonesia, and the Indonesians are good players. He just failed in his endgame, in the sharpest, most tactical part of the endgame. And yet other moves, he was getting start engine moves. He was finding all those. But when it came to the pawn tempos and judging the pawn positions and stuff like that, of course, that vital rook move that he missed, rook b7, that was super critical, and that probably cost him the game. Okay, so the position should have been a draw. Anyways, that's Untitled 80, and we'll go back here now we'll close this one in the analysis room there, and we're just going to go back now to the analysis room, and we'll just see that last game. We'll have one more game to have a look at, and we'll just see how we go there. Right, this is against Oleg. Now, Oleg is from Latvia, right? And so we've got a different game again. So I'm showing you a whole different variation of games. We've got a Sicilian, we've got a Queen's Pawn game, right? And now we have a different type of game, okay? So we're just going to the analysis room. As we say, Oleg's from Latvia. Okay. It's loading up the analysis, the engine analysis. My analysis by myself would not be up to scratch for some people. I've got generally a good concept of the positions. Knight to f6, c4, book move, e6. Now we're talking about a Bogo Indian here. Now, what is a Bogo Indian as opposed to an ordinary Queen's Pawn? Well, I'll show you. When the knight goes to f3 here, book move, the bishop fires out check, right? And this is the position. This is the set position for the Bogo Indian. And you know who used to play this against me in tournament games occasionally, right? And had a lot of success. And that was Fred Flatto. Fred Flatto was the Australian chess champion. And he was an Australian chess champion and won quite a lot of tournaments all over Australia until a certain young man came along from America. He was born in Australia. And his name was Walter Shawn Brown. Yeah, Walter Shawn Brown. And just before he played in the Australian Championship, I was sitting in Hyde Park in Sydney Central, playing on the chess tables, you know, the Shysters chess tables, and up comes this Yank, and he says, I was only about 18 then, or something, 18 years of age or something then, 17 or 18, and he says, I want to play anybody for $1 a game. I said to my mate, I said, oh, I can't afford that. I only play for 20 cents, right? I only played for 20 cents. I think I was working as a copy boy at the Daily Telegraph in Park Street in Sydney, and the copy boy wages to be a journalist wasn't very much. Never did get to be a journalist, but that was the plan of working in the Daily Telegraph, the local newspaper. It was a national newspaper. But I was playing in the park there, and along comes this fellow, Walter Sean Brown. Anyway, someone backed me to play him. Anyway, he rattled off all these moves really quickly with the black pieces, and he played a Blumenfeld Gambit against me, right? So he blew me off the board, and he was giving me odds of 5 minutes to 1 minute. And I couldn't believe it. He had his chess clock there, and he wiped me out. Well, fortunately, it wasn't my dollar that was lost a couple of times. It was my friend Taffy, the pommy bloke. And Taffy had plenty of money. Anyway, Taffy sponsored me. But I learnt a lot that day, and later on in tournaments, I used to actually play the Blumenfeld or the Volga Gambit, as they call it. I used to play that myself, right? And I still play it today in blitz tournaments because it gives you a bit of play for, gives you a bit of an active position for a bit of a pawn sack. And there's lots of complications in it and dynamic play for the black pieces. But anyway, after that, Walter Sean Brown, he went up to the St John's Chess Club, where I was a member up at King's Cross in Sydney, and he proceeded to win the Australian Chess Championship, left Australia, and then he went on to win get his Grandmaster title just within 12 months or so after that. But he won by quite a margin when he played in the Australian Chess Championship that year. Freddie Flatto played in the tournament. I think he did well in it. I gave him the check. He played bishop to d2. I played queen e7. And then he played g3. All right then, I hope you're enjoying all this. I enjoyed telling you all about the story about Walter Sean Brown and stuff like that. But and Freddie Flatto, who adopted this Bogo Indian against me. I played knight there. Engine says it's a good move, but it like bishop takes d2 better. And bishop takes d2 followed by d6 and e5 is the way to play this. So what you're supposed to do here in this position is you're supposed to just take the bishop, okay, and then play pawn there and pawn there. It's a very, very simple plan. And then you can choose whether you want to put the knight here or here, okay, depending on how your opponent plays, okay. And you should get a fairly equal game. Okay, so I played knight there. I just wanted to get rid of my knight. I like to get rid of a knight if I can. I thought, I'll be happy to just change a few pieces off. He's 22-20, I'm 22-70. I play risk-free chess. And hopefully I'll just beat him in the endgame. Because I'm a 2400 player in the endgame. So I reckon. Teddy tells me I am. Is that right, Teddy? Teddy? Teddy! This is Grandmaster Teddy. I made him a Grandmaster on my Twitch channel. Teddy reckons he's a Grandmaster. Do I play like a Grandmaster, Teddy? Well, sometimes he says. He says sometimes. He's a talking bear. Anyway, knight takes. Star move, knight takes. And I played d6. And I realised, oh no. As soon as I played the move, I realised I've lost a piece. Can you see how I lose a piece? I lose a piece. He just plays queen checks. Okay. Only way to defend the bishop is put the knight in, and then he pushes the pawn. I lose a piece. I saw it straight away, and I thought, oh no, that's the end of the game. But do you think he saw it? Blitz chess. He just played a3. And I thought, oh great, he wants me to win. So I took his knight with check because he didn't want to take a piece off. I thought, I'm going to make him pay for it. He's got a lazy brain, I thought. Poor old Oleg. Anyway, he played queen takes d2, and I thought, well, I'll play e5, and hopefully no more goofy moves. I don't want to play any more goofy moves. What do you reckon, Goofy? I say, don't play any more goofy moves, John. That's right, no more goofy moves. And see if you can win a game of chess. See, castle. I castled. Just keep the position stable. I didn't want to. I thought I'd castle first, and then I'll wait to see what he does before I choose whether to put the knight here or here. Okay. So I wanted to wait and see what he does. Anyway, he played e4, and I thought, oh, great, well, I'll play bishop there. And why did I play bishop there? Star move, best move, I'll tell you. It's because if I can take his knight, I identify straight away that his pawns, 1, 2, are on white squares, and they're key white squares, and they're blocked along diagonal, which means that I might get a good knight versus a bad bishop. And we all like a good knight, don't we? So anyway, he plays d5, so I thought, well, I'll take his knight, and he took back, and I played pawn bishop 4. And the engine didn't like my move. And it says knight d7 was better. But I actually like it. I actually like that move. I think it's not too bad. You know why? It causes imbalance in the position. It's not a really great move because of what he does, right? Yes, that's the way you should play it. Now, I think I should probably play rook there, and I did, star move. And what did he do? He played pawn there. Oh, he should play queen to e3 first. And then that way, I can't take the pawn, right? Okay? This is very important in this position because you just watch what happens. I'm now able to take the pawn. Now, if he takes with the rook, I just take his queen. I just take that off. I'll play knight here, sorry. So all I'm doing is I'm threatening to put my knight here, right? Now, if white wants to draw, it's very, very simple. You know what you do? You just give a check, right, with the bishop. You give a check. King has to go in the corner. You get the king in the corner. Then you go for the end game. You just play bishop takes 9. Then I've got to take back. And, right? Oh, no. I take his rook. Oh, no, I take back. And then he doubles the rooks. And white's got a slight edge, okay? But he can't lose, right? But now after he checks, I go in the corner. Watch this. He likes his bishop down there. But you know what this bishop is? The bishop is an illusion. The knight on e5 is far better than the bishop will ever be, right? And he should take the knight. He should not let my knight... I took his rook first because I want to belt him, right? And then I want to punish him. He played queen there. He should play queen e3. But now I play knight here. Now I'm threatening a knight check wins the queen. Now the beautiful thing about this position is if he takes this pawn, I can play pawn here and his queen's out of play, and surely my rook, my queen and my knight coming in around this king in those squares, right, in that box, he'll be dead. So he correctly deduced he should not take the pawn. He played king there. So I thought, well, I'll play queen there. I'll deduce something of my own. Thank you very much. And then what did he do? He played pawn there, and he's dreaming. Did he think his bishop would protect him or something? Anyway, no way. So I thought, what will I do here? I'll just play queen check. And then now he worked it out. I could see his mind ticking over. If he plays king here, right, I play rook here, and he can't stop this big filthy checkmate, right? Can't stop it without losing his queen or something. So he moves his king back. So what do I do then to win? Well, I just play queen there. It's a very simple move, guys. But after this, have a look at the bar on the side of the board. The game is over. There's no way in the world can he stop knight check, okay? And after, if say he moves his queen here or something like that, well, just simply knight check, and that's going to be a checkmate, right? So we go back and we see what happened. So we played queen to f3 check, played king to g1, right? We played queen to e2. He played pawn takes pawn because, you know why? Because he didn't know what else to do. And I just gave him a knight to f3 check. And he said, oh, that's enough for me, Mr. FideMaster. Now there he was. He had a great position. He was playing a great game, Oleg, and yet he still lost, right? Okay. And I think it might have been just the extra experience that I've got. I don't know, but it's a game that I probably shouldn't have won. He might have been overawed by the FideMaster title. Some players are overawed. But what I say to you, and I say grasshoppers, I tell you what you should do, and that is have no fear. Have confidence in yourself and throw the kitchen sink at the higher rated player. Attack, attack, attack. Take no prisoners. Throw everything at them and don't hold back. Don't think of what could have been at the end of the game. Don't go back and reminisce about what could have been. But if you throw all your pieces and play the best game you could possibly play, well then you know at least you were in there battling. But if you're playing all defensively and you know, that's how you choke, right? You choke, and you just can't get a win that way against a high-rated player. So if you want to get a scalp, what you have to do, have confidence, move forwards, and just throw everything you can at your opponent, okay? So that's my advice for you. And right now I'm going to end this stream and just ask you to click that thumbs up button if you like the video, and please subscribe to my channel. If you want to make a donation, my PayPal description's in the video story, and names of the players, the ratings, and everything else there, and results is all in the video for you, so you can examine it all. Thank you for your time. Please come back and watch my next video. And please check my last video. My last video was absolutely fantastic. It was one of the best videos, one of the best chess games I've ever played. So I hope these are 3 ordinary games, but they're good training games to teach players how to think, how to never give up, and how to come up with certain ideas in ordinary general positions. Okay? Rightio, with that, I'm going to say adieu and